Hello there, right here, and in today's video we will be covering 6 things that you should definitely do before updating to the newest version of 1.17.1. When Minecraft comes out with new versions of the game, they change things. Often these changes are new features or bugs that they removed, but sometimes when they change stuff, they make it harder to get certain things in the game, or they end up actually making discontinued items, blocks, and mobs. So we will be looking at things that become rarer and things that become just downright impossible to do now. Those of you guys who've been following the channel for a while will know that I enjoy collecting rare and discontinued items, blocks, and mobs in this game. And I meticulously keep track of all the different changes throughout the snapshots in search for new rares. And I catalog this all on this document here, which is open to the public that you can find down below. And if you think I have any rares missing, you can leave a comment on it. And I'm guessing you guys enjoy looking at rare things in Minecraft, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as I dedicate a big chunk of my channel just to that. And you can check out more rare things with these two playlists after this video. So the first rare that you should obtain before updating is getting the blue axolotl. Now in Minecraft there is 5 different types. There is pink ones, yellow ones, there's also brown ones, and these cyan white ones. But they're all pretty common except for this blue one, which only has a 1 in 1,200 chance of appearing in your world. But in the new update, it's going to be harder to get these guys, as you'll no longer be able to just find them in your world or have a mob farm to get them. But instead, we'll be stuck with actually breeding 2 of these normal guys together in hopes to get a super duper rare one. This is done by using tropical fish in a bucket. You'd have to feed 1 to 2 different axolotls. They would produce a baby. Then you just have to have that super rare chance of 1 in 1,200 in order to get the right type, being the blue one. This makes it very expensive and extremely tedious. So instead, by far, you should go ahead and capture these before the update, because you can use my axolotl farm that I just made and did a video about. It lets you just go AFK to get one of these guys easily. I'll have that video linked below, which includes a world download for the farm, so you can build up in your very own world. Now, even though all the different colored axolotls behave the same way, by having one of these rare blue ones, you can actually breed them with normal ones and get babies, which you can turn around and sell to other people on your server, or just show off by having a whole bunch of them. Plus, they're one of the rarest mobs in Minecraft being in their default form. Now, this is a good example of something becoming rarer, but not being eliminated from the game. This next one is something that is no longer possible in Minecraft, and this is stealing the items from the villagers without actually purchasing them. Typically, you come in here, you give them so many emeralds, and then they would give you some items in return. Or alternatively, you could come in with the item that they want to purchase, and they will give you emeralds. But if you actually killed the villager while he's holding the item, he has a chance of dropping it. Let's go ahead and give it a try. See, this time he didn't drop it, as it's only a small chance, similar to getting armor off of like zombies. But having a looting sword helps. The only problem is you need to be holding the item that they want in your main hand. And for looting to work, you also need to have it in your main hand. So this best works with 2 players, one holding the item and another person killing them with a single hit of a looting sword. Let's go ahead and keep trying until we get this emerald. There you go. You see, we actually got an emerald off of him from his death, which is pretty crazy. And you can also show him emeralds and in return get enchanted books without having to pay any money. There you see, we got an item without having to use any emeralds up. Now this trick was actually removed in the next update, so if you want to get any items off of villagers without using emeralds or paying them anything at all, you want to do it before updating. But this trick isn't that useful, because it's most useful when just doing the first trade. Otherwise it will cost you items and emeralds in order to advance them. I'm here on the Minecraft Wikipedia page, and it shows the different levels of the villager, first one being the novice. And since the whole point of the trick is to not pay them any items or emeralds, and the villagers do end up dying during the process, you'd want to look for a villager type that could potentially give you items that you need at a novice level. Or you can hold something like coal and just keep collecting emeralds off of new villagers. But the novice trades are usually not anything too useful. We got some iron armor, rabbit stew, map, redstone dust, bread, bucket of cod and cooked cod, arrows and flint, leather armor, brick, shears, stone tools, iron weapons. So by far the best is probably librarians, who could give you an enchanted book that could potentially have any type of enchantment. But in the end, instead of paying like your emeralds or items for stuff, you end up actually paying in villagers themselves, meaning that you need a decently fast villager farm in order to keep resupplying them. So just like the villager trick, this next one has to do with something that no longer works in 1.17. And that is giving withers different potion effects. Now it's always possible to damage these guys with like healing potions or heal them up with like damaging potions because they're undead. But in 1.17 you can actually give them stuff like strength potions to actually make them stronger. And you can give them like Turtle Master to make them super slow as well as super resistance. as this stuff has resistance 4, which is pretty much making like the Wither impossible to kill. But it also doesn't move around much because of the slowness 6. But by far the funniest one is giving it an invisibility potion, and then you could try fighting the Wither without even being able to see it. You could even come in and turn your particles to minimal, making it pretty much impossible to figure out where he's coming from until he starts attacking you. Let's go ahead and hop in survival and just see what happens. Oh, there he is. Oh my goodness, this is so tough. Oh my goodness. But the potion effects don't last forever, so this is just a short time thing to play around with before updating. This next one is similar to the last two, meaning that it is no longer possible. But different than those, you can showcase the change in these as like a trophy, because these are actually discontinued with 1.17.1. They made it so that zombie types will no longer be able to pick up this new item, which is glowing sack. And this comes from Glow Squid. This was due to the new squids dying in caves, and these guys just happening to pick them up because zombies do have a small chance of being able to pick up items. And this is known as a tag called Can Pick Up Loot. So before updating, giving one of these special zombies that have this tag a glowing sack. So dropping a glowing sack at one of these guys, they will pick it up and hold it in their hand, and turning them into a discontinued mob for 1.17.1. Now this change that they did only applies to glow ink and not normal ink. This change was also applied to villager zombies and husk, as well as drowns. So if you're somebody that likes to enjoy collecting rare mobs, make sure to go ahead and grab these guys before updating. Then you can put them on display, showing them to your friends and explaining the history. Now, unlike these cool trophies, this next one can't really be shown off as a trophy when updating to the next version, because it's actually a ghost block generator. And if you guys know what that is, it's where you can make it appear that there is a block here, but it's actually not really here. So if you were on a server, your player would be able to see it, but other players wouldn't necessarily be able to see it. So let's go ahead and just turn this on. So if we just flick this switch, we look inside of this dispenser, we can see there is a bucket of powder snow, which is a new item 1.17. These can be dispensed into a block, and they can also be pushed by pistons. So by powering this, we just dispensed it and also pushed it. And if we flick it back and flick it again, it appears that the powder snow was dispensed and then pushed over here. But if we look inside of here, we can actually see the bucket itself is still full of the powder snow. It didn't actually dupe. Instead, this is actually a fake block here that we can only see on client side. And the server doesn't actually respect this. Because of this, you can actually hop in here in survival and the server isn't going to freeze you because it is completely aware that there's really not a block here. And if we just right click this, you can see it actually vanishes. Because the player actually tries to interact with it and the server's like, hey, that's not there, and then tells your client that that's not really there, and it just vanishes. So even though you can't really take advantage of this in the next snapshot, it's kind of a cool thing to play around with before updating. The next one is something you can kind of sort of take advantage of in 17.0 as well as in 17.1. But only if you prepare ahead of time. So let me explain. In 1.17.0, emerald ore that generates in mountain biomes is way more common than it was in like 1.16. You can see just right over here, we have two emerald ore that are like right beside each other. And to illustrate that there is way more ore in this version, I went ahead and took a chunk and converted all of the normal emerald ore as well as deep slate ore over into beacons, making it easy to see through the world. So each of these beacons you see was actually emerald ore. You can see that there is 9 emerald ore just in a single chunk. Now we're in the exact same world with the same seed, the exact same chunk, and same location. The only difference is that we're in 1.17.1, where they fixed it so that we now have normal ore generation like a 1.16. So instead of having 9 emerald ore in this chunk, we only have 3. So before updating to the latest version, make sure to go ahead and take advantage of this, which can be done just by coming in and loading some extreme hills. And that way later on you could come back and mine all the emerald ore, even if you're in the new version. Since once the world is generated, it will keep it like this. Now if you're wondering the best way to mine it up, check out this video here where I cover tunnel boring for ores. Or you could always come in and strip mine or branch mine. So this last one is a bonus one, and this has to do with mining diamonds. Now mining for diamonds did change slightly between 1.17 and 1.17.1. And this graph illustrates why they made this change. They wanted to try to keep 1.17 just like 1.16, but this orange line is 1.16 and the blue one is 1.17. You can see that they are not the same. This is showing how many diamonds can be found at different Y levels. Before 1.16, there was this steep decline on Y level 15, and there's no diamonds showing up on Y level 16. And this is how 1.17.1 is going to be. But if you play in 1.17.0, you can actually find diamonds at Y level 16, although they are considerably more rare than mining at other Y levels. Now, one reason why you might want to mine up at Y level 16 is because you're a lot less likely to find this new deep slate block above Y level 16, because this stuff is harder to mine than the stone. But if you don't care about mining through deep slate and just want to go after good amounts of emeralds, the best way to do this is actually mining at Y level 12. So if I look at this block here on the right hand side, it says targeted block and it says 27, 12, 32, and the 12 is the Y level. And you can branch mine, and you can even go into prone mode by using a bucket of water and then swimming and going down into this little hole here. And then from here, you can mine out one block and expose 4 new blocks, allowing you to remove less material in order to find more ores, especially diamonds at this Y level. You can see I came across some emeralds here. The downside to doing this is that you do move slower and you can't sprint. But the positive is that you do have less blocks to remove to expose ores, and if you mine at Y level 12, you can oftentimes mine right over top of lava pools. You could also mine one lower, but you're just more likely to run into the lava sooner. And with branch mines, you can space them out. So I left 3 blocks in between, because oftentimes when you find diamonds, if you do find one in the wall, there's probably one also over here. So if you mine into these, you will also get the ones in the center. And same thing for this tunnel here. If there was any emeralds that exposed here, if they went inwards at all, you would see them from the edge. Now, some people thought there was a big change with 1.17 and finding diamonds, but it really wasn't that big a change, and now they reverted back to 1.16. Probably the biggest change is just mining through this deep slate, which is harder, meaning it takes longer to find diamonds. This last one we're going to take a look at is probably why we're really having the 1.17.1 new version added into Minecraft. And that is because there was an accidental item duplication exploit added while fixing a different bug in the 1.17 snapshots. And this duplication bug is easily accidentally done by anybody playing survival. If your inventory happens to be completely full while you are naming an item in the anvil, and the anvil eventually breaks, the item is supposed to go back into your inventory, or it's supposed to drop on the ground. In this case, it tries to do both, and it ends up duplicating the item exactly. So if you do this with a shulker box full of stuff, you'll get 2 shulker boxes full of the exact same stuff. Now if you guys have been following my channel, you will know that I'm not a fan of general item dupes, even though I have discovered several of them over my 12 years of playing the game. Even when I discovered the most famous general item dupe, where it can duplicate items on donkeys, llamas, or zombies, I was more curious about the potential to use it to make things like sponge farms. And only at the very end of the video did I mention that it could be used as a general item dupe. Keep in mind that since some mobs can carry items, and if placed into this machine, it will duplicate the item. So only use this machine with the permission from your server. And it was a general item dupe that almost stopped me from playing Minecraft way back in the alpha days. And I talked about this in my tour of my 10-year-old survival world. So make sure you only use this on servers that allow duping, or if you're 100% sure that you want to do this in your single player world, because this bug is fixed in 1.17.1. And the release date for 1.17.1 full release is planned for Tuesday, July 6th. So if you're on like Realms, it will automatically be updated, or if you're on a server, they might update somewhere quick, so make sure to take advantage of these before updating. Now in the meantime, they also came out with the 3rd pre-release, which fixed some different bugs, including captured axolotls are constantly trying to leave the water. There's problem with lighting, as well as chunk loading that they fixed. And they resolved axolotls despawning even though they were named and on a leash. This next one's kind of for speedrunners, which is they fix it so piglins will once again call other piglins, even ones behind walls. They also fix a bug to do with drip leaf breaking other blocks when placed down, and a problem with the jar file systems. In the release candidate, they only fixed one bug, which had to do with axolotls and dolphins drying out. If you found any of this useful, make sure to leave a like on the video as well as share with other Minecrafters so they can take advantage of this before updating. And I want to take this time to thank all you guys for the massive amount of support in sharing what I do with other Minecrafters across the world. If you'd like to see more crazy things possible in survival, check out these other playlists. As always, I'd like to thank you guys all for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!